At times like these, with crypto markets crashing hard, pumping hard, crashing hard again, volatility all over the place, printing $10,000 green candles and $10,000 red candles, holy crap, there's a lot of confusion in the market. No one wants to see their portfolio plummet or to FOMO in on a bounce to only get wrecked again a few hours later. We don't know where the market is going. Everything's so confusing. What's going on? Which way are we headed? Well, the truth is, as always, it's always a game of probabilities. But today I'm going to show you a powerful Bitcoin signal that has proven reliable. And spoiler alert, the message it's sending right now is actually a pretty positive one. Before we dive into that, though, let's recap exactly where Bitcoin is at and why sentiment has been in such a tailspin recently. We keep going from this, it's so over, to we're so back. And at the time of recording this video, markets were in the green, but they could be in the red again by the time you see it, depending on what Donald Trump tweets out. So the negatives. The Bitcoin price dropped off a cliff at the end of February. Over the space of just 3 days, Bitcoin crashed from 99K down to a low point of 78K, which is actually pretty standard shit for a Bitcoin bull market cycle, even if it's tough to watch. Also, when it comes to the ETFs, rather than holding prices up as we might have hoped, they actually sold off too, adding billions of sell pressure. The biggest ever outflow day occurred during the crash. Well, demand has taken a pretty big hit throughout 2025 so far, as well as compared to last year's mega bullish levels of interest. And of course, with very few exceptions, altcoins saw even worse price action. Some of these things are down so much it's not even worth looking anymore. On top of all that, the number of meme coins hitting escape velocity on Launchpad Pump.fun is basically at an extinction level event, down bad. Although, to be fair, that might actually be a good thing for the cryptocurrency industry in the long run. Yeah, of course, meme coins are going to come back because human greed has not disappeared, has it? No, everyone will lick their wounds and then come back in gambling again. Different story. But they've not exactly been generating the kind of normie enticing headlines recently, have they? Dudes coming in, putting in $5 and making $1 million. So it's all over. Well, hold up a minute, because, of course, we then got that huge announcement from Trump about a crypto strategic reserve, which we already knew was coming, but now it's sort of more official. Still nothing actually in print or in Congress, but still, that sent prices skyrocketing back up over $92,000. Around the time that you will be watching this video, might have already had the crypto summit and maybe got some exciting news out of that, or just a big sell the news event. But the roller coaster, far from over, okay? After the initial strategic reserve announcement, we crashed again. Final relief rally, last chance to exit the markets. Probably not. Bitcoin completely retraced the move though. Absolutely insane volatility, giving us some of the craziest looking candles on the charts recently. So does this bull run still have gas in the tank, or is it all over? Macro is simply too strong and it's gonna be screwing us. First of all, we know that corrections are always a part of the ride, but also let's now take a little look at the signal that I was talking about before, which is based around, well, before we get into that, I want to take a quick second to let you guys know about today's sponsor. I want to take a few minutes to let you guys know about a crypto portfolio tracker called CoinStats. This is a fantastic tool that you can use to save your time and to manage your entire crypto portfolio all from one spot. CoinStats is an awesome product because it connects to pretty much any cryptocurrency exchange or wallet out there and tracks all of your transaction history so that you can keep track of your portfolio the easy way. With CoinStats, you can get best-in-class profit and loss analysis with portfolio analytics. Look, it's essential to know your profits during the bull run, obviously. Know your total cost, the amount spent on acquiring the assets, your unrealized profit and loss, the profit or loss on the assets they haven't even sold yet, realized profit and loss, how much money you've actually made or lost. You can check your detailed asset profit and loss transactions all in CoinStats. With Wallet Explorer, you can actually search wallets across 120 different blockchains and see detailed analytics. And if you want to follow any wallet as well, and this is some real alpha here, you can just add it to your watch list. You got a whale who's been nailing all the meme coin calls, add them to your watch list. You can even turn on notifications for those wallets to track them once they buy or sell a new position, which can really help you stay ahead of the game by following the smart money. And if you don't want to connect, you can also do everything manually, okay? It has heaps of cool features like portfolio analytics, historical graphs, which means, of course, it does all of the heavy lifting for you. Now look, recently I've noticed they're also bringing in some really cool AI features, which are going to take CoinStats to the next level again. And if you're someone like me who uses multiple wallets, so many exchange accounts, then it's an easy decision to use a tool like CoinStats. It's super useful. Additionally, CoinStats has an easy-to-use mobile app because we're all on the go. We can manage portfolio right here, keep up to date with those notifications for the whales and stuff like that. It's got a great user interface. You can check all your balances just at a glance. And here's the kicker. CoinStats is giving the Lark Davis community, that's you watching the video, a 50% discount by using my link down below in the description. That's an awesome deal. Go check it out and support our sponsors. Okay, back to it. Let's talk about the correlation between Bitcoin and copper. Look, it might not sound obvious at first, but there's a pretty big connection between the price of Bitcoin and the price of copper. Copper's the new Bitcoin, man. No, look, that's because copper can be a pretty strong indicator of the wider health of the economy. In fact, so much so that it's sometimes referred to as Dr. Copper. Must be Dr. Pepper's weird cousin. Anyway, this is down to copper having so many practical applications across the economy. So when economic activity is rising and industry and manufacturing are growing, copper is in strong demand. It's a very important commodity, and thus the price rises. This means that copper is very strongly correlated with the business cycle. We talked a little bit about that in the business cycle video the other day. Go watch, I haven't seen it yet. When manufacturing orders rise, a metric tracked by the ISM, the New Orders Index, then copper performs well. So when the economy is growing and manufacturing orders are increasing, guess what? You get an environment in which people feel wealthy. They're feeling okay. Economically, they're optimistic. Copper's up, let's go, basically. They're confident in that situation and investing in risk assets, which of course benefits Bitcoin, dog coins, all that kind of stuff. So all that in mind, what's happening right now with copper? First, here's a look at the correlation between the price of Bitcoin and the copper price. You can see how much they tend to move together and to peak at the same time without a lag. See, Global M2, which we talk about all the time, has about a 2-month lag, and it kind of sometimes lags more, sometimes speeds up a bit more, but copper's pretty spot on. Right here, copper's price movement this year, you can see that it's risen by about 15% so far in 2025. So the next thing to consider, and this is arguably easier than directly predicting what BTC itself will do next, is how copper is likely to perform for the rest of the year. Remember, if it keeps going up, that's a positive signal for BTC and an extra bit of confluence with our predictions around the global M2 supply and stuff like that. But copper's performance is related to the business cycle and whether or not we can expect increased industrial demand throughout 2025. For that, we can look at the US ISM New Orders Index. Remember, this is tracking manufacturing orders. So if it goes up, that is actually indicating an increase in economic activity. Here, we can see that it's rising, which is a positive sign. In fact, it's gone from a score of 52.1 last December to 55.1 in January. And look, just to be clear about how all this then ties back to Bitcoin, here's the relationship between the ISM new orders and BTC. So we've got some pretty big synchronized increases across both in 2012, 2016 to 17, 2020 to 2021, all times when Bitcoin hit new highs, and when in 2017 and 2021, there were all kinds of just cryptomania unfolding. And here's a look at copper and Bitcoin prices during periods when copper actually broke out to new yearly highs, which basically corresponds with these big Bitcoin bull runs of 2017 and 2021. And then with Bitcoin's 2024 gains, crazy shit, right? So the question is, can copper break to the upside again? In which case we'd expect Bitcoin to move upwards too. Well, as mentioned, the ISM New Order Index is currently ticking up. So if that trend continues, meaning of course that economic activity expands and grows, then this all becomes a very solid possibility. Business cycles continuing, money supply going up, copper doing good. And if we also consider what to expect from the business cycle, the US manufacturing PMI, which indicates economic activity, has also upticked so far this year. There's been some fluctuations, let's say, in some of the January numbers for some of the manufacturing numbers, but overall they're still in a very positive spot. And you can see, again, that all this usually correlates with the price of Bitcoin, although BTC hasn't yet followed some of these things up. Finally, let's also check the copper-gold ratio. Now, this ratio tracks the US manufacturing PMI. And when the ratio is high, it means that copper is outperforming gold, indicating risk-on appetites during economic expansion phases. While if the ratio is low, then gold's outperforming, indicating the opposite, that actually markets are in a risk-off environment. Investors are preferring to take safety metal versus risk metal bets. At the moment, though, this isn't quite where we'd like it to be if we're looking for risk on signals. It's not so high right now, which, corresponds a bit with gold's recent gains, and maybe this breaks in one way or another because there's so much central bank accumulation and gold's so much in the spotlight right now, but still it's been useful up to this point as an indicator. Overall, then, we don't have a 100% clear picture, but there are definitely some positive signs. And if early positive signals for economic activity can continue in the right direction, if tariffs don't freak everything out, there's not some major credit crunch, or gosh knows what can happen in these markets, right? But if that positive signal for economic activity continues to go in the right direction and we get a manufacturing expansion, which I think is what Trump's pushing for with a weaker dollar and lower interest rates and all that stuff, well, then we're going to have a situation in which copper performs strongly. Therefore, we can expect Bitcoin to perform strongly and the rest of the cryptocurrency market as a proxy, meaning more bull run time, guys. More bull run time. This has all just been a mirage in the desert. Maybe not a mirage, a nightmare in the desert. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Big bull market correction. Very bearish bull market correction, especially for altcoins, but not so unusual. As always, though, there are so many factors at play, it's impossible to keep just one indicator and say that's definitively what's going to happen. It's just one possible scenario. There's a lot of things we have to keep looking at. We'll try to keep you as educated on all this stuff as we can and up to date as we see things changing in the market here on the channel. Thanks for watching.